Commissioner Schwab, Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Chairman Bittner.
Here. We do have a quorum. You want to lead off?
Sure.
Okay.
This is the time and place for the Burleigh County Tax Equalization meeting for 2026. This is the County Board of Equalization. We also will sit for a minute later on to recess and then sit as the township boards for those unorganized townships, and then we'll come back and reconvene as the county board. But I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the tax equalization report, and then we'll ask anybody in the crowd if they have any concerns, questions, want to come up to the podium. We do have sign-up sheets. I did tell the crowd this, but just to reiterate again, there's sign-up sheets in the back. There's also a sign-up sheet up here. If you want us to take a look at your property, please sign your name, address, and phone number, and our office will contact you starting tomorrow. We will come out and take a look at those properties, make the necessary adjustments. So. In front of you today is the 2026 Township Equalization Report, or County Equalization Report. I'm not going to read through the letter for you, but you guys can kind of breeze over it. The first page is the motions. We'll touch on those at the very end. I will go through each true and full value, just so we have an idea of what's going on. The true and full value for ag land in 2025 was $458,791,900. For 2026, it's $438,034,300. That's a 4.5% decrease from 2025 to 2026. Now, as you guys know, and just so the people behind me can understand, ag land is not based on market in North Dakota. Ag land is based on production. And because anytime you have an interest rate increase, the capitalization rate increases because it costs more money to do business, that causes the ag land values to decrease because they're based on production, meaning that the farmers and the ranchers make less money per acre. So that's why you're seeing a decrease. It's just fundamentally, it goes against my grain to fundamentally say we decreased ag land when it continues to go up. But that's how the legislature wrote that law, so we have to follow that law. That puts us at 100% of ag land. Commercial land went from $1,147,464,300 to $1,247,743,800, or 8.74% increase in commercial land. That's city and county. We did some reassessment on lot values throughout the county. I think the city did the same. That's why you're seeing an increase in that commercial land. Residential land went from $1,829,937,550 to $2,061,604,350, or 12.66%. That's also because we did reassessments, and that's the new land value. We were falling behind on land, the city included. The commercial buildings, you see a small decrease, went from $3,301,400,800 to $3,303,665,900, or 2.03%. And the residential buildings went from $8,851,209,400 to $9,326,624,550, or 5.37%. That's a total increase of 5.06% across the board in Burleigh County. This is indicative of where our market was, where our market continues to go. So we can skip through the rest of the report. I just wanted to give those totals. And then we'll go back to the market values for the city of Bismarck. You see there's a pie, or rural and Bismarck. You see there's a pie chart on there. Page 1. So keep going, past the alphanumeric numbers to the actual numbers. Well, last year, I believe that ag land represented 3.18% of our total value. This year, it represents 2.67%. Commercial represents 27.79%. Residential represents 69.54%. The total assessment for Burleigh County for 2026 is $16,379,687,900. The next page gives you that breakdown in the cities, outside the cities. You're seeing a little bigger increase outside of the cities than the amount we changed, 7.08%. Part of that's because of the reassessment projects we were doing. We're constantly conducting those, trying to stay on top of those values. Values continue to climb in the city, outside the city. There's just not enough inventory available. City of Bismarck had a 4.36% increase, and that's the total of 5.06%. The next page is just the City of Bismarck. As you see, there's almost zero ag land in Bismarck, 624,900. That's typically because when ag land comes into the City of Bismarck, it immediately gets subdivided and gets put into subdivisions. Their breakdown is 35% commercial, 65% residential. And just, if you had any questions, just stop me. I'm talking pretty fast, so. Part of that's because we have a room full of people. I want to make sure they have a chance to talk, so. And then the last page is the rule in small cities. This excludes the City of Bismarck. We always like to do that breakdown separate. Farmland equals 10%, commercial about 7%, residential about 83%. So as you know, outside of the city limits, residential makes up the bulk share of the value. A lot of that's within 5 miles of Bismarck. Then we can go through each one of these if you'd like. As you notice, they're pretty standard. You'll notice in the city of Regan, there's a decrease of 1.22%. That's because there's nothing happening in the city of Regan. For the most part, we probably tore something down in the city of Regan, or we took out a piece of ag land from the city of Regan is what it looks like. There's just not much happening there. Adversely, you can see the city of Wilton went up 11.47%. They did some reassessment work in Wilton. The Wilton assessments are actually done by McLean County on a contract. They contract with the city of Wilton. There just happens to be 125 parcels that are in Burleigh County. Then as we go through the market values for the unorganized townships, you'll see the ones that have, you can see where all the house values are: Burnt Creek, Fort Rice, Lincoln, and Riverview, and then the rest of them all go down between 2 and 5%. That's because they're all ag land. There's no value out there. And then all the organized townships is laid out the same. They all conduct their own boards of equalization. Our office does 12 of them on contract. Behind us is Marie Horning. She does 21 of those on contract. And then we have a few other assessors scattered throughout. And just so you are aware, we conduct tax equalization meetings in the month of April. Our office, along with Marie and the staff of the other townships, are out busy meeting with people in the evenings, on the weekends, to get all this stuff compiled for us for tax equalization purposes. And then if you skip forward to 12 and 13, it's at the end of those townships. There's increases due to new construction versus value increases on existing property. This is just for you guys to understand how everything goes in, and that's why you'll see some increase to existing property and you'll see negatives. That's because stuff changed classes. It went from ag to commercial, ag to residential, went from commercial to residential. All land in North Dakota is valued commercial unless it's ag or it has a residential structure on it. So when you see values going from commercial to residential, that's because they built new houses on them, so they changed classes. And then you'll see the residential land and buildings. That shows you the increase to the existing versus the new construction. And we had quite a bit of new construction this year, but the reassessment value outpaced the new construction far and wide. And then there's a breakdown of the city. We always exclude Bismarck from this because they're their own sales ratio. They put in their own values. They get to report everything to the state themselves. Then the very last page is the exemptions. The reason this is included in here is because one of the motions, you guys approve the exemptions that our office has already approved. The people submit them to us. We vet them, and then we submit them. So that's the tax equalization report in a nutshell. I think we're going to want to hear from some people that are here, have some concerns, try and address those concerns. And then
Mr. Chairman.
if you have questions, we can go for
Commissioner Woodcock.
I have a question on the page 14, the exemptions. When they're $100,000, does that mean they're exempted $100,000 off their true value, or that's the total value left is $100,000?
No, that's the amount of the exemption. So we take $100,000 off
So
of
if
their
they got a
value.
$400,000 house, they take off $100,000.
That's correct.
Off of that value.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Each type of exemption that you're seeing in there, wheelchair, blind, they have a set amount of exemption they can get up to a certain
Maximum.
amount. Yeah. And as you guys know, there's also the homestead and vet credits. Those are not an exemption. Those are actually a credit. We don't put those in this report. But that's an actual credit of your taxes based on your veteran's disability or your age and income. or a disability. And that's a credit that comes directly off your taxes. So the county and the townships and the jurisdictions are made whole from the state of North Dakota. When we give an exemption out, and that's why our office vets them, everybody else just has to pick up the portion of the exemption that we take away, because we don't get money from the state for those exemptions. That's why they're very limited on the ones we give. Is there any questions or concerns?
I don't see any.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of, for the people that are behind me, I'm just gonna kind of give you an idea of why you're seeing increases and why you're receiving notices from us. So, the reason for the increase is we're trying to capture a market. The market is always in flux, it's always going up or down. In 16 years that I've been here, it typically hasn't gone down, it's gone up. Our housing market continues to climb at a steady rate. And then the reason you got the notices from us this year, and a lot of you probably haven't seen a notice from us in the past, is the state law changed under Bill 1176 that requires us now to notify you every year of your last year's assessment and your this year's assessment. Prior to this 2026 assessment cycle, you were only required to get a notice if you went up 10% and $3,000 or more. So this actually is the process working. It's getting you engaged. It's getting you to know where to go, who to talk to, so we can actually look at your problem or your parcel. If you have problems, we're not able to address every single parcel every year. So sometimes if you're seeing an increase, we're just applying market increases, and then if you don't contact us, we have no idea what the quality and condition of your home is, if you have deferred maintenance or that kind of stuff. So this process allows you the opportunity to talk to the local assessor, have us come out and take a look, make the adjustments that are necessary. And what will happen today, commissioners, is if there is adjustments that get made after this meeting, our final certified values we push forward on June 30th to the state will reflect the adjustments we make after this meeting. So what we're gonna do is I'll give Thomas and the auditor a list, and they'll put those in the minutes before we approve the minutes at the next commission meeting. That then triggers the process for us to make those adjustments, because that is their appeal. And I do have a list of them we'll go through today to get you guys approval for those people I want to put in the minutes, besides the people that are behind me today. So I think now is an opportunity for these people to come up and talk if they want to, and if not, we do have their names in the back, and we will be contacting them to take a look at their properties. Hi, Jeff. Yeah, for sure.
Commissioners, gentlemen. I have some numbers I'd like to share with.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Inns from Kirkwood Ace Hardware. I have been the owner of the store since 1989. Lori and I moved here in '87. Longtime Bismarck resident, longtime Bismarck business owner. The first sheet lists, and I'll refer to it later, but the first sheet lists about 25 businesses, what their taxes are, what they pay per square foot, and those of you that are in business, you know everything comes down to square foot and cost. And I think I will show you that there's some extremely unfair taxation going on with me in my building. So I will ask you to refer to those. In particular, 3 starred items, Fleet Farm, Costco, and Cashwise. I'll reference them because they have gas stations on their property. That changes that valuation a little bit. To be sure I got everything, I wrote a script. It's there if you want to refer to it or make sure that I say the right things. I purchased a tire store south of our South store a few years ago, and I noticed a dramatic difference in the taxes on that tire store, that the entire neighborhood had been going down for 5 years, and my hardware store had been going up for 5 years in valuation. That led to an adjustment in the valuation of my South hardware store. About $1 million, they dropped it. And if you notice on the sheet I gave you, that brings that store into line with the other competitors. But then we started looking at the north building. My taxes are dramatically higher than my competitors and all the surrounding buildings. I'm paying nearly triple the rate of the box stores and double the rate of everybody else. The appraisal for my north building is about $9 million, guys. I hope it's worth that, and the assessment may be correct, but this is about equalization, and what is fair And if you compare my taxes to other people, that simply is not a fair number. I've listed the other retailers. Average rate of taxation for them is $1.30 a foot. If you take the gas station value out overall for all of them, it's $1.25 a foot. I'm paying $2.81 per foot taxes, 2 to 3 times what these other guys are. That's not fair. The most direct comparison is directly next door to me. Cashwise grocery store. It's built about the same time, built from exactly the same construction materials, built on virtually the same piece of land. It is 60% larger than me. That store also has a full gas station and car wash, which is about a $5 million investment, gentlemen. Their valuation is $500,000 less than my building, being almost twice the size plus the gas station. Their total valuation is a little over $8 million. $5 million gas station out that leaves 3 for that grocery store. $3 million, really? I've appealed this valuation for 2 years in a row. I've been denied 2 years in a row. It's interesting that in the city of Bismarck, you can only appeal your appraisal to the person that made the appraisal. No check and balance, no oversight, and they're not going to say they made a mistake. In the denial, and I hope I'm taking your time, gentlemen, I have 10 reasons for the denial, long conversation. I'd like to address them. 1, north side buildings are worth more than south side buildings. My south side building and north side very similar in size, but the north is evaluated 3 times the value. It's just open hardware stores, but it is interesting that the Walmart store north and south are twins. They're valued the same. The CVS north and south are twins. They're valued the same. My buildings are different. Number 2, the restaurant spaces in my building have a higher value finishes and are worth more. The restaurant spaces in my building take up less than 10% of the building. It's still a big barn full of hardware. Grand Junction has open ceilings, unfinished walls. It's not really a nice restaurant space. The power plate space is a single room with vending machines in it for prepared foods. No food preparation facility, no restaurant. It's an empty room with vending machines plugged in. Meanwhile, the grocery stores have Caribou Coffees, small fast food areas. Walmarts have Subways. Costco has a cafeteria. Target has a Starbucks and food offerings. Shields has a full restaurant. None of their valuations see the penalty of a restaurant in those numbers. 3, you have a medical clinic in your building. It's worth a lot of money. It's false. I have an urgent care walk-in clinic. It's not a medical facility. It's a series of rooms with nurses. You walk in, they either give you a pill or refer you to a real clinic or the hospital. However, the grocery stores and Walmarts have pharmacies. Costco and Walmart have eye doctors with full optical clinics. Many of these stores have nail salons and banks with very nice finished spaces. She also neglected to mention the food prep facilities in the grocery stores, Costco, Sam's. Millions of dollars of refrigeration equipment doesn't seem to show on their appraisals. And Costco, Sam's, Fleet, and their auto repair facilities, millions in lifts and compressors, also not reflected. She compared my store to the strip mall west of us, saying my building was more of a group of little buildings. Well, that strip center pays $258 a foot, still 30 cents less than I pay for my open barn. As listed above, most of the boxes have these smaller spaces within their buildings, and I'll add, most of them have liquor stores too, another nice finished space within them. The Walmarts and Sam's, Costco has liquor, the grocery stores have liquor. All of these stores have these finished spaces. Number 5, the materials used to build my building are of a higher quality and more expensive. Costco, Walmart, Cashwise, Kohl's, Target, Shields, Lowe's all have exactly the same construction that my building does, precast concrete and metal roof. You have a garden center. Yes, so does Lowe's, Menards, Fleet Farm, Target, TSC, Runnings, Max, and both Walmarts. Your building is newer and worth more. Cashwise, Fleet Farm, and Costco are newer than mine. None of the others are significantly older. I consider them all new. I don't think age is an issue. Your building has ceiling tile. Yes. So does Target, Kohl's, Shields, Penny's, and the entire mall. And I'd like to point out, Shields is paying $1 a square foot taxes. $1. One of the nicest stores in town. $1 a foot. I'm paying $2.81. Your building has a basement. Yes, thanks to the city of Bismarck, who determined that I had to go down 20 feet for footings on my building. A fifth of my building has a basement. It is basically a cold storage area, crawl space. It can't be used according to fire codes for anything else. There's no access, no exit. But as compared to all the box stores that have second-story offices and employee areas, that's worth a lot more than my underground cavern in my building. The last part, at the city meeting, Ellison stated, I don't know where he's getting these numbers. The numbers you see, they are right off the Burleigh Bismarck website. They're directly off each company's tax statement. Those are accurate numbers. At the Adjust meeting in April, they show a little video. Shows three guys having dinner. One has a hot dog, one has a steak, one has caviar. It wouldn't be fair to split that bill evenly. Guys, I'm the hot dog. I sell nuts and bolts. I got a little hardware store. These boxes are running over me. They pay $1, $1.25 a foot. I pay $2.81. It's not fair, guys. When we question evaluation, somebody always says, yeah, but would you sell your building for that? $9 million. Yeah. Then I'll buy Kohl's because you've evaluated that at the same money. It's twice as big, twice as nice. Or I'd spend a little more and I'd buy Target or Sam's Club, Target, Lowe's, barely more than my evaluation. Those are a lot nicer stores. I mean, the three nicest stores in town, without doubt, are Target and Kohl's and Shields, and they're paying a pittance compared to what I pay. If my building's worth $9 million, and it may be, I grant that. I hope it is. These other buildings should be worth a lot more. Menard's land alone, the land alone today is worth $18 million. The land by my building is listed for $30 a foot right now. At $20 a foot, they're worth $18 million. Yet the city has evaluated that entire property, all the buildings, all the outbuildings, all the parking lots, all the lighting at 18. Really, two of my stores would buy Menards? Is that fair? It's not fair. If we allow for a valuation of $2 million for a gas station, that's what the city calls all the gas stations in town, even though I told you it costs $5 million to build one, $2 million. So let's take those three stores, Fleet and Costco, and cash-wise, take that $2 million off. That puts all of them at about $1.05 a foot in value. All right? The city's very consistent on this. Everybody, all those buildings, everybody, $105 a foot, very consistent. I'm at $250 a foot value. If we're 37,364,000 square feet, 37,364. If we allotted $1.25 for me, my south is 105, 125 on the North Star. That's giving you some leeway for the advanced value of a nice building on a nice piece of property. That's 20% premium over all those other people. That would put my value at $4.67 million, not $9 million, if I was evaluated like everybody else in town. That would put my correct taxes at $56,000, not $107,000, and my value at $1.50 a foot. The tax, it's still in the highest range of all the stores I've listed. It's fair. I'm asking you to reevaluate my building and what is proper, and I'm asking for a refund of what I paid this year. I appreciate the time. What a great city that we can do this. Thank you for listening. I took up an unfair portion of time. I'm passionate about this. I believe this is equalization. We have something really, really unfair going on here. And when you all ask, why are you so expensive? Well, maybe because I'm paying 3 times the taxes everybody else is. It's a pretty good answer. I got to make that up, guys. And I'm telling you, 50 grand more than I should be paying on that North Star makes it pretty hard to survive. I would like you to treat small business in this town the way you treat the corporates. If I could have that favor and that consideration, I would appreciate it. Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
you got a lot of good message here. You mentioned Shields was $100 or what, $1?
$1 a foot.
That's not on your list. Is there a reason for that?
Because they're part of the mall.
Oh, okay. got
Yeah,
it.
they
I
do
never
not
thought of that.
separately own their buildings,
Thought
but
of
the mall as a whole, again, nice little, pretty little stores, nice fit and finishes, prettier than my store again. $1 a foot, those people pay over there. And that has a medical clinic in it, a full medical clinic, by the way. You know, Mid-Dakota or Essentia now has a full medical facility in there. There's a lot of nice stores there, and without doubt, I think everybody in this building agrees, Shields is the prettiest store in this town. They're paying $1 a foot. I'm paying $2.81.
Can I,
Go ahead.
can I say, is this a city problem and not a county problem? Have you been to the city already?
Yes,
And
He
they-
twice.
said he has.
Pardon me?
He
Twice.
said he has.
And they denied you both times?
Yep,
Okay.
It is. in
I
there.
want to hear why they denied you. That's
because it's a really nice building.
Can we quote you on that? You got a lot of good points, man. You do.
I'm proud of the building. I mean, my degree in college, I was working on architecture. I finally did a building. It's a pretty neat deal. And so we picked that piece of land. We watched. I was gambling on where Cashwise was going to build. We did a lot of things right there. Okay? I'm proud of it. It is worth the money, but not in comparison to where these other people are. And that's all I'm asking for is fairness, guys. Fairness. I don't see that here. You can tell I'm frustrated. And I believe this is unfair and I'm being treated unfairly. And I have to go through the steps. One was the city, number two is you guys. I will do what I need to do to take care of my family and my business. That's what we do, right? And the community. I mean, guys, you're going to hear a lot of things. People are taxed to death here. I mean, you know, homeowners are being squeezed, businesses are being squeezed. The appearance in town, gentlemen, is that locals don't get the favors that corporates do. And I remember when Menards flew their lawyers here from Eau Claire and beat the city up and got what they wanted. I don't have those kind of people to do that. I mean, and from our standpoint, we get $1,600 from the state on our house, and then the appraisers take it back. It's not a good look here. We're all starting to feel a little beat up. Well, I think I reflect a lot of opinions here. And we all deserve some answers of where this is going. This one is flat on
Okay,
unfair.
any other questions, commissioners? Okay, Al, what's the next step with this?
Yes, you may.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm assuming, Jeff, you signed your name up back there? Or can you, just so I can get, because I'll get a hold of you.
Yep.
The next step is now we'll take a look at it.
All right.
You know, where you guys can make, you guys are the Board of Equalization. If you feel there's a concern that you want to address at the table today, you certainly have the ability to do that.
Oh, I think we do.
Yeah, no,
You know, I think he made a very good, clear presentation here.
my request is that we have a chance to sit down with him, look at it, review what he's stating, review with the city, and then come back to you with a recommendation.
Yeah.
That's my request, just so we have a
Okay.
chance to. I mean, this is the first I've
I
heard
think that's fair.
that he appealed it today.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I
Duly
know-
noted that he appealed.
Yep, and a few things that I want to address. These are not concerns. These are just casual observations as an appraiser. The comment about the appraisers taking back the $1,600. Those of us that work in the city and county don't have enough bandwidth and money to purchase enough houses to affect the market. We're just following the market values of homes. Secondarily, smaller buildings do have a higher dollar per square foot, but there does appear to be some equalization issues that he's addressed, and I'd like to have a chance to have to look at them.
Okay, we'll follow up with
Thank
that.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
while we're here, can't we hear from the city assessors who did it? And
You
why?
sure can, yep.
Yeah, I'd like to, because we only heard one side so far, so.
I'm Allison. I'm the city assessor. We have looked at the building in the past, and again, at our city meeting is when the appellant came and shared with us the same bit of information that he shared with you today. We took a look at that after the meeting, and just looking at the different types of properties there. The big box stores are significantly larger. So as Al referred to, typically those do have a smaller price per square foot. We are only setting the valuations based on market. And so when we're looking for comparable properties, we're not typically looking at those larger stores. The Fleet Farm, the Costco, the Menards, those types of properties are quite a bit larger than this hardware store. And so they also don't have the same amount of partitioning for the different types of businesses that are run separately out of the property. And so that's why we looked more at the neighboring strip malls that have a similar finish. They're of a similar age, and they have additional businesses, you know, in and out of them. He does take up the majority of it. We will agree with that. But looking at the types of finishes and the construction that was done for his building versus those big box stores, they are not apples to apples. And so that's why we wouldn't look at those exclusively as something for a comparable. So we just,
You know, I understand what you're saying, but these numbers look pretty bad to me. You know, I understand the difference in fit and finish. I am a general contractor. I understand that certain things cost more and are worth more and all that, like granite versus this tabletop. I get that. But that's a lot.
I can understand that does look like a lot.
I mean, I've been in
If
that
you're looking
store.
at the Walmart store as an example, off the top of my head, I think that one's 200,000 square feet larger than his store. And it is a bit older as well, so it's gonna have a bit more depreciation to it. And because of its size, it overall is gonna be less per square foot. But those were our reasonings for recommending no change after we took a look at the information. I will say this property value did go down almost 500,000 from 2025 to 2026. So he did see a decrease in valuation from last year to this year. And as for the taxes on this property, just like any of the other ones, 2026 taxes, they don't come out till the end of the year. So, and we're really only able to look at those assessments. You know, we have nothing to do with the mill levies when it comes down to it, and then, you know, the budgets and that sort of thing, so.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Munson.
So Allison, I'm looking at Furniture Row. 180,000 square feet lot, Ace 181. Building size for Furniture Row 54,000, Ace 37. Okay, so you're a little bit smaller. Yet his valuation of his property is 4 million more?
I don't have that same information in
Right.
front of me, but.
That's the first
know-
one that I go to look at, and his lot size is almost identical. Yes, his building's a little bit smaller, but you got a $4 million difference in evaluation. I would like you to
apologize.
look at
Yes,
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
can
would like
definitely
you to
take a
look at
look,
that.
but unfortunately, I don't have
Yeah.
that piece of information with me right now.
That's
so.
just the one that stood out the most
Yep,
to me, because it was very similar in size.
okay,
All right, thank you.
yes, thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else wish to speak? Come on up to the podium. State your name for the record. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Chris Blowers. I'm a homeowner in Burleigh County. And I'd just like to make a statement. I received a valuation. My home went up. So one of the biggest problems that I see with this valuation is that I'm being taxed based on my home, based on value I have never turned into cash. I bought my property in 1992, built a home in 1997 for substantially less than what the county states it is worth today. Did I sell it? No. Did I make a profit? No. Did I receive a check for that increased value? No. But my taxes keep climbing like I did. And that's the problem. This isn't income and it isn't cash in hand. This is a figure assigned on a piece of paper through rising appraisals, and now I'm being billed based on that. If my stock portfolio doubles, I don't owe taxes unless I sell it. If my income stays the same, I don't suddenly owe more tax, more income tax. So why does owning a home work differently? Why are property owners being taxed based on theoretical value they never realized? A home isn't just an investment, it's where people live. And this system means you can do everything right. You can buy your property outright, pay it off responsibly, improve it, maintain it, and still get squeezed harder every year because of rising paper valuations. You never convert it into actual income. And in my opinion, you don't truly own something if you can be taxed out of it. People are tired of watching paper valuations outpace real life. I know I am, and therefore I would like to file a protest on the recent increase in valuation of my property, as no real estate has changed hands on my street in approximately 20 years. And what I ask, are you basing this increase in valuation upon? Thank you. If you have any questions,
Commissioners, any questions?
What's
Commissioner
your
Woodcock?
address?
9360 Darren Drive. I'm in
Darren?
the Darren Drive in the Raymar 3 subdivision.
Okay.
Is that in the city or out of the,
It's in the county.
in the county? Okay. Are you on the list?
I am.
That she's referred to? Right, Al referred, okay.
Yeah, we'll reach out to her.
Okay.
We'll call you,
Okay.
probably come and visit your property, make sure we have everything correct. We'll have a discussion.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, anybody?
I guess she stated a lot of things that I was going to bring up. I kind of agree with her on the evaluations, but my property needs a bunch of repairs after we purchased it. We've had issues because it's built on clay and it's moving so much. So it's cracking the floors in the house. It's, the floors are settling in the garage, and the evaluation was done without anybody coming to look at the place. So I guess my big concern is I'd like somebody to see what issues I'm dealing with before they put a value on the place, because I know it's gonna cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars if I had the money to fix it. You know, we're gonna have to live with it the way it is, but.
Okay. Is your name on the list that
No,
we're
but
talking
I'm
about?
There's a sign up, you can do that one too.
Oh, I don't have a pen,
Right here, I took it, I'm sorry.
so I will put my name on here.
Yeah, we'll
yes.
look into that for you.
Yeah, for sure, we'll call you tomorrow, start making calls tomorrow.
Somebody else can have the microphone or this, so it's not holding you up.
Okay. Does anybody else want to come to the microphone while he's
Yeah,
doing it?
I'm just gonna add something there. And just for this gentleman's sake and for the commission's sake and for the crowd. We value, between the city of Bismarck and the county, we oversee 54,000 parcels. And besides myself, the three ladies sitting on and that's the entire staff of the Burleigh County Tax Equalization Office. We try and run that as lean as possible, because it is your tax dollars, and we do have concerns with taxes just like you do. So if we haven't been to your house and there's something that you need us to address, by all means, call us anytime. We are more than willing to jump in our county car or our personal vehicles and run out and take a look at it. So that's what our office is here for. We work for you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Anybody else? You're welcome to come up and speak. A lot of people in the room. Does somebody wish to speak? Welcome.
Never been to one of these before. I have a
Welcome aboard.
9-unit, that was an apartment house built in 91. It's, as of the last 2-3 months, went through the city and got it converted down, red tape and whatever, to get it converted into condos, so they're officially condos now. Does the price of those condos total go up just because they're now condos versus they were apartments? Does it just automatically kind of go up because it's an individual?
We do have the appraisers here. We can ask that question. Allison or Al? Is it in the city?
Are you in the city?
It's, yeah, it's a Montreal Street.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that would be
Yeah,
Allison.
it's right in the city.
It would really depend on the market of those individual condo units versus what it was as an apartment building. And they're not typically the same. So it wouldn't necessarily stay exactly the same as it had been when it was an apartment, just because of the way we have to look at those. You know, we're gonna have to split the value up on the land and the structure, and then based on what each of those individual units are, and then what they will go for on the open market compared to if it was a just a apartment building and comparing it to apartment sales, so. Unfortunately, we don't have.
An investor will pay less than, I can sell it as a building to an investor, or I can sell them individually, it's more work, but I can get more money for them as condos, so I suppose.
So then the value
the
has to
value-
reflect that.
So the total, if I keep it, if I just kept it now for another, I plan on selling it, that's why I fixed it up. If I sell it, hold on, I lost my train of thought here, but, let me say this, it's, let me get up, I can sit here or whatever. It's a nice location, nice building. I put about $270,000 into it in the last year. So it's not, I mean, it's new decks, new roof on the garage, new brand new windows. It's got a great roof on top, 40-year guarantee roof on top, 6 years ago. It's a nice building. I'm trying to, when it says true and full value, I'm trying to figure out what to charge when I sell them. I paid for the whole project, land and all. I paid like $400 per unit, about $54,000 per unit when I built it. And now they're valued at 1.777 million, little over. So I'm trying to figure out how they're valued. I know market value is what you can get, but I'm trying to figure out, it's just, I could sell them for considerably less and come out pretty good probably, but I'm trying to figure out if the value is here, right around about 197,000 even, right per unit. And I'm trying to figure out if I should charge somewhere around in that, because it is a nice location, it's a nice building, looks good, looks newish. I'm just trying to figure out what I should charge. And I've got it all updated. There's nothing really wrong with the building. Put new air conditioners, 3 new air conditioners in the other day. Pretty much up to date.
Well,
And I'm just kind of trying to figure out how they're true and full value. So when I get a list of the true and full value, is that kind of what I should charge, even if I went 10,000 less instead of 197? If I average 177 even.
I understand what you're asking, sir, but we can't give you any advice on what to charge.
Market value.
Market value, I can tell you what my experience has been. What I see reflected in market value and true and full value on property tax statements has always been less than what the market is for that property. Like my own property, there's no way I'd sell it for what it's being taxed at.
So you'd sell it for more or less?
I would, my property will sell for more than we're historically, we're required by law to be within a certain range from property value. And I do know that the county is always on the low side of that range. And I think Al can give you better information. But personally, I would never sell one of my properties for what the county is taxing it at. I can just say that flat out, unless I was Jeff Hintz. But no, he's not here. I was gonna.
He's over here in the corner.
I was gonna joke with him. I'm sorry. But
If
I
the
know
9
those
units burned
guys.
down, that's, insurance would pay me, I guess, 2.7 million. Here it's a total of about a little over, it's 1.777 million.
Again, I
I'm just
can't
trying
give
to
you
figure
any
out.
advice, but
Yeah.
I do know that I wouldn't sell my property for what the county charges for taxes. The
So it's
valuation.
likely that I could probably get even more, but even if I got
Yes.
this, I would be very happy to get what the evaluation that I,
Well,
It's up to you.
it's up to you, sir. And I would recommend,
Okay.
I would recommend a financial institution such as,
Sure.
I don't know, whatever comes to mind, Bravera Bank, Wells Fargo,
yeah,
Community Credit Union,
Realtor.
any
He's a
realtors.
realtor.
yeah.
They're in that line of work. And they'll do, like if you contact a reputable realtor, They'll do comparables
Yeah,
and help you come to that conclusion.
I don't want to take up any more of your time, but
Okay.
I get, thanks.
Thanks for coming in.
Ask a realtor for CMAs on them. They're called Certified Market Analysis. They'll work it up for you, and they'll tell you exactly what they're worth.
realtor type?
Realtors, just any realtor.
Okay, all right.
No, CMA, I didn't know that.
CMA, Certified Market Analysis.
Certified Market Analysis.
Does anyone else want the podium?
Mark McKelkey, I live in Riverview Township. I just wanted some information. So I think my questions are around this reassessment effort. My values have jumped pretty good in the last few years. And so I'm trying to understand how the reassessment has taken place. And is there limits to how much can be increased in a year?
So the reassessments are ongoing, so we're always looking at areas, looking at parcels. We do a different area every single year. But there is no limit. As long as we don't exceed market value, and as Commissioner Bittner alluded to, the county always errs towards the low end. We try and be around that 91, 92, 93%.
So market value as stated here,
Would
or
be about-
value as
we're-
stated here, in your estimation is around 90% of market?
90 to 93%.
Okay,
So if you took that number divided by 0.93, that's what I think your house would sell.
okay.
If that number, and this is for everybody, if that number is inaccurate and you think we're too high, then that's when you need to have us come out and take a look. That is actually the. Yeah. For everybody in the room and for the commission, that is the reason for these meetings, is exactly what we're here to discuss. This is so you have your opportunity to speak to this commission and for our office to have a chance to look at it. That's why on the notices that you got, if you lived in the jurisdictions that the county does, it had our phone number for you to contact us. So we can go out. We've actually been out to several parcels since we sent these notices out, looked at them, explained to them. We bring comps with, so you can see the comps that are selling. You can see what it is. And I understand to the lady's point about an unrealized gain. And like I said, I don't like taxes any more than the rest of us. But 50 states out of 50 states use ad valorem taxation, which is according to value, because nobody's came up with a better solution yet. That's the reason we have to do it this way, is because the state law. If you want that effectually changed, you have to then go to the legislature, the county commission, and the county tax director's office doesn't have that authority, nor does the city assessor's office have that authority to change the fundamental principles of it. While we probably agree with you on lots of things, we just have to follow the century code as it exists.
Does that answer your question, or do you want further?
I think so. And if you sign up, we'll call you, and if you decide to come out, that's perfect.
Okay. I'd like the minutes to reflect that Commissioner Schwab joined the meeting. Thank you. Okay, who else wants to speak? Microphone's open. Don't be shy. Anybody? Going once?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock?
he's stepping up, but next year I'd like to see a pie chart of what the city pays, what our city collects, what the park district collects.
I'd like to just make
school
one
district.
comment here. Maybe I missed it here. I wasn't here until I got this hearing aid. What is the relationship between the just tax credit of $1,600 and they said they were going to put a 3% cap per year on the tax, and mine just went up 6%. That's all I got to say.
I'll address that, sir. The $1,600 was the primary residence credit that everybody applied for. That's a credit on taxes. That's not a credit on value. The 3% cap was a cap on budgets. That's a general budget that caps each jurisdiction from not increasing their budget by 3% with several caveats year over year. But that's on the total budget. It's not on any one individual tax bill. The reason that is because that would be impossible. So the value increase of 6% has the effect on taxes because that's how the taxes are spread. But for the majority, if the average went up 6%, the spread becomes pretty even, and so then it's back to 3%. I'd also like to note that our county commission and the county voters did a measure to reduce property taxes by the sales tax we collect, and we've gotten the general fund property taxes down to less than half of what they used to be. So on top of the $1,600, you saw a drastic increase in your, or decrease in your taxes from the county's portion, and that's this board sitting in front of you right now. So we have done measures to try and reduce and alleviate property taxes as best we can with the tools that we have available. As far as an individual increase, the 3% only applies to the full budget, not to an individual tax bill.
Right. Al, the county budget wouldn't have accounted for a 6% increase in this gentleman's taxes. So, sir, were you talking about property value or your tax bill?
Property value.
Okay, that's.
He's talking about his 2026 value having an increase of around 6%, which was the average on residential properties. We're talking about last year's budget. We haven't set the budget for this year yet, so that will take an effect into the mill levy calculations because our total value will be increased, which means the amount a mill is worth more. So then the mill levy will decrease because you have more money. The mills are worth more money. So that's all stuff that happens starting at the end of this month, all the way up and through September, and then the mill levy calculations that the auditor's office does the treasurer's office does. That's for the tax collections in December.
Okay, so according to this report, though, if his home went up by 6%, the average residential land and building increased by 8.59. So,
And that's correct. But the 8.59%, that includes the new construction. So new construction doesn't count if it was added this year and it didn't exist last year.
Yeah.
So that's the total. But yes, he's likely, because outside of the city limits, you have a 7.08% increase. He likely, if everybody's budget stayed somewhat similar, would see something similar. Now, of course, we don't get into brass tax numbers of taxes at this meeting because we don't have any control over it at this meeting. It's not until the budget hearings. But in reality, he's staying within the norms of where the increases are. So unless a budget goes drastically sideways and somebody raises a bunch, he should see a fairly similar tax bill to what he's seen in the years past.
okay.
I'm going to hand out this page. These are the ones that are not here today but are appealing. We've been in contact with them. You'll see some are phone calls today.
Are you on the list? Do you need us to take a look at your?
You want us to call you?
Okay.
Are these the ones you've already been to?
These are ones we're in negotiations.
Okay, okay.
As you can see, Commissioners, there's a handful of these on the list. These are ones that we've been in contact with that have contacted us. I'm going to go through some of these and hand out some stuff to you that we just got. The first one is a house on 19th Street. He sent a letter for the commission. This just came.
Okay. Thank you.
He was unable to make it today. He had a doctor's appointment, so. I'm not expecting you to make action on any of these today. I have an appointment with this gentleman tomorrow at his house to discuss this. They just need to be reflected in the minutes that he was here, so that's his next step in the appeal process. So we don't need, this is for you guys to read. If you have questions, you certainly can ask. One of the things that he did mention in here was the traffic. Location's a factor. I explained at the city meeting that traffic on our street is not comparable to those streets east of us. The street has become the new state street. Well, I did a down and dirty traffic study myself because I wanted to see what kind of numbers we were looking at. And while 19th Street does have a lot of traffic, I'll agree with that because it's now the throughway between Walmart North and Century. 9th Street at Avenue E has about 680 cars an hour. 7th Street at Avenue E has about 720 cars an hour, and his street has about 310. So it's substantially lower, but that's still a lot of cars. So that is a thing that does have some effect on market, so we will take a look at that. We'll have a visit with him tomorrow.
Okay.
The next one on your list is Enright Properties. They provided us with an appraisal. This just came today. We are gonna review that. That's Wells Fargo building, over, that KLJ is in, over on Fourth and Broadway. I know that the city assessor has visited with them, so we will take a look at it. I literally got the appraisal at 10 o'clock this morning, so I haven't had a chance to review it. But I did contact them by phone and tell them we would be getting a hold of the property manager. The next two on your list are the gas station by Menards, the Circle K, and the Circle K over by Cedric Thiel. And I do have authorization from them that the tax rep that's representing them is the representative for Circle K. He still hasn't answered the question to me, is one of these is owned by a local person, and I'm not sure if the local person wants their value appealed, or if Circle K is just appealing this value. So I'm waiting for some response to that, because sometimes the local people don't really want their values appealed. So but I do have the authorization for that. The next, was there 7, owned by Belfield Access Terminal. We're in negotiations with them. The city has been in negotiations with them for a while. This is some of the land up by Fleet Farm. There's some stuff going on up there that we're trying to hammer out some understanding, I guess.
Land, not building.
It's land, not buildings, yeah. Nothing's built out on it.
Okay.
And then we have 2 at the bottom. One is a Cole Leslie. That's a Leslie Cole, I'm sorry. That's a property that he requested. He built this property, thinks that we're a little too high. I did mail him some comps on Friday. He said if he's okay with the comps, he's not gonna have us do anything, but I wanted to make sure it was addressed today that he had contacted us. And then the last one is a property down on Regent Drive. They also just sent me a letter right before the meeting. This is a property that we will contact them, visit with them, and go out and review. Like I said, she just called right before the meeting. She called actually at 2 o'clock. So based on what she bought it for and what we have it assessed for, we definitely need to take some look, pull some comps. It's a twin home down in Imperial Valley. So I just want to make sure, and I gave a copy to the auditor, that these are reflected in the minutes, so if they just choose to move forward, they certainly can. And then I have a handful of stuff in the back of my packet. I don't see anybody here today. Some of these, like when I told the people we have visited with people, these are the ones we've taken care of already this year. Nobody that had these concerns is with us in the crowd that I know of. So the process is working. There's nothing that needs to be noted in the minutes for these. These are reflected in the values that we've given you. So that's all I have at this point for appeals. If there's any other concerns that you guys have specifically related to anyone in the crowd, otherwise we can move forward with the motions into our assessments and how we address those. And how the motions will work, commissioners, is we always will put as or otherwise noted in the minutes. That way that gives us the opportunity to make those adjustments and then reflect those in the final values.
Can I have a quick
Commissioner
question?
Woodcock.
If we have a property, a commercial property is what I'm thinking of, and it's assessed at, say, $1 million, and it's sold at $800,000, which is considerably less than the assessed value, can that person go back and get a rebate on those, since it's the difference in taxes?
People are entitled to file for an abatement for up to 2 years previous.
Does that happen? I mean,
Oh, yeah, we do those all the time. I mean, there's abatements in front of the commission.
I know they're filed, but do they ever work?
Oh, for sure, yeah. When you guys approve those if you don't see me standing here for an abatement and you approve them in the consent agenda,
Part of that is,
those have been approved. If an abatement's ever denied, you'll see me standing at this podium, or I will bring it to you with a recommendation of denial. Because that's the process working. I mean, we do abatements for all gamut of things. It's not just because they sell for less money. Most of the abatements you see in front of you are for homestead and vet credits, people that didn't apply and get them after the fact. But that's, in the same manner, that's taxes back to those people. I think Taylor sitting behind you can attest to how many checks Haley writes on a weekly to send those people back their tax dollars that they've overpaid.
Okay.
Okay, before we go on, just want to make sure, does anybody else wish to speak on this? Okay, we're going to move forward. Commissioners, in front of you is a list on, in the agenda packet of motions. I think first we would temporarily adjourn the county commission and go to the unorganized township board.
That is correct, Commissioner. And the people that were here from the unorganized townships, we kind of blend this all together. But now what's gonna happen is you're gonna sit as the unorganized board. We don't need to ask them to come back up unless they so choose. But you're just gonna make a motion to approve that assessment. And these are all as noted in the minutes. We will employ the abatement process if we get past that June 30th date to get these changes made and then back in front of you guys as a board. But the ones that are noted in the minutes, that we will take care of those and address them. So yes, you are gonna adjourn and sit as the township board and make a motion to approve the township board.
Okay, note the time. We're going to adjourn as the county commission and convene as the unorganized township board of equalization. Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken. Chairman Bittner.
Here. Okay, commissioners, in front of you is a motion.
Move to approve the assessments of the unorganized townships or otherwise noted in the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Now you'll reconvene.
Okay, we're going to adjourn the unorganized township board of equalization. We'll reconvene as the Burleigh County Board of Equalization. Motion number 2 on the list.
Move to approve agricultural land values to implement North Dakota State Tax Department recommendations on the average value per acre.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion and a second to approve the ag land. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
No.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Reluctantly, yes. I think that's because of the,
I cannot vote to say that the agricultural land value has gone down.
I
Just can't do that.
yeah,
Just
that's
can't
what
do
I
that.
thought, and I agree with you.
I bite the bullet.
Yeah. I agree.
Fundamentally, Commissioner Woodcox, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That, unfortunately, I'm not a legislator.
Yeah, you go out there and try to buy some ag land today
Yeah.
and see the shocked look on
It's
your
at,
face.
we're at about 15% of market.
15%?
15%.
Yeah, it's criminal, really. I mean, anyway, number 3.
Move to approve the assessment of the cities of Bismarck, Wing, Regan, South Wilton, and Lincoln, or otherwise noted in the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the assessments. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Move to approve the assessments of the organized and unorganized townships, or otherwise noted in the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the assessments of the organized and unorganized townships. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Move to approve application for property tax exemption for improvements to commercial and residential buildings, North Dakota Century Code 57-02.2, as recommended by Tax Equalization Director Alan Vietmeyer, or otherwise noted in the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve what he said. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Move to approve and accept the 2026 real property assessments as equalized, to authorize the county tax director to make corrections to property values in Burleigh County as needed, and further to adjourn sine die, or otherwise noted in the minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you, folks. for
Thank you,
attending.
commissioners. Thank you, folks.